Hey, you guys, I'm here early, so just trickle in. Hey, Linda, how are ya? Did you have a good weekend? Hey, Melody, you little sweetheart. See if I can fix this so everybody can see it. We'll see. We shall see. And I think okay. Hey, Jean, are you gonna be able to stay awake? Or was that yesterday? I forget. Time flies when you're having fun. Had to remember to turn the lights off, get a Kleenex because you guys make my nose run. Got my water. Well, girl, what are we going to do with you? It's not fun when you get your days and nights screwy. We're going to go here in about 5 minutes. And we're going to put this thing through a few more paces. Let's see, I need to get... little... Trying to figure out what can be seen without causing an avalanche. All right, Sharpie it is. I would never draw with a Sharpie, but for purposes of exhibition, we will. Yeah, I saw that you said that, Jean. It's still a bitch when you can't sleep. I went to Rosemary Saturday with Melody was there. It's the first time I've seen her in almost 2 years. But now that we're going every Saturday, it seems, I'll see her more often. And so I can move that over. And then I won't need this. I'm thinking out loud. Don't do that to me. Linda, you kind of have to. And I've got about an hour and a half drive home. And Randy took me Saturday before last because I don't drive at night. And we were driving along, and I said, "This is about where I nod off for a few minutes." He looked at me. He said, "Tell me you're kidding." I said, "No, we get so relaxed. It's just," and it's the kind of group that it's okay if you don't talk, and it's okay if you don't participate. You can zone out and zone in, work on anything you want. If you need help, you can get help. So anyway, it's fun. And if you happen to need a tea bag or something like that, Rosemary's got boxes. Hi, Jilly. And part of it is that her studio space is magnificent. Like Randy said when he went through it, he said, "You've got this much crammed into one room. She's got 4. I said, "Shut up, shut up, shut up." But she's got the workshop in the front room, and then the kitchen with a big table that we really don't use, but she uses tables around the room to store some of the stuff. And then the next room is her sewing room with all of her fibers and textiles. The next room is the library with all of her books, and the bathroom. So it's just a little shotgun house, one room right after the other. You have to walk through one to get to the other. But it sure does work nice, and she's got everything painted cute colors. What time is it? It's 4 o'clock. Okay, we're going to go. I want to say on the front end that I am not getting paid to do this. Anyway, that's all about that. Been thinking about Jean, who has visual problems, and there are other people that do too. And for those who want to present the argument or the debate that, well, you can just print it, photocopy it, and trace it. Yeah, you can. There's nothing wrong with that, but this is a tool. And it is probably a better tool than tracing. It's a better, I can tell you it's a better tool than a light box or, one of those LED whiteboards or whatever you want to call it. I've got one of those, and it's kind of hard on my eyes. Plus, it's kind of hard. Of course, I got the big one. Getting it set up, and this is just a piece of plastic and this little stuff here, so it's nothing to carry with you if you need it. The other thing is that 300-pound watercolor paper is a little bit dicey to see through, so if you have a black drawing or line art or photo and then put 300-pound watercolor paper on it, sometimes you can barely see it. So this is an option. This tool is a variation of one that's been in use back when they didn't have lights and stuff. I'm not real sure how they did it when they didn't have electricity. But they made boxes and used mirrors, and they would shine the sunlight into a peephole, which would hit the mirror and bounce off and hit something else onto their easel. So this is doing basically the same thing. I see what the problem is now. I've got a ring on. I've got my phone's not sitting exactly flush, and I don't quite know what to do about that because I've got a hook on the back of it. That's better. So anyway, that's what this is doing. The picture is reflecting at a certain angle here that then is shining. That is refracting it down flat on the paper. I'm not seeing this on the plastic. I'm seeing it on the paper. And so, Jean, if you have any questions as we go along, let me have them, please. I got to get this where I can see. Oh, there you go. You got to move that up one. Okay. I'm going to show you this little drawing. This is one of the ones that they give you. By the way, this product sells for under $40, depending on where you live. It's made in Australia. Well, it's shipped from Australia. So that's always fun to get to see your package come through customs in China and all that stuff. So here we go. This is just a quickie here to show you the basics of how it works. I did turn off my overhead lights. I've still got my overhead big room light on and my umbrella, my soft umbrella, but I'm seeing just fine. So I'm looking, my head is not twisted or turned any way. I'm looking pretty much straight as I would down at a project I'm working on my desk. So there's no contortions you have to put your head in to see it. So I'm just holding my head normal and I can see this. It helps to have your paper anchored. I don't. Do as I say, not as I do. I can see everything perfect. Now this is an illustration, except I missed the mouth. How about that? This is an illustration, so you've got full blocks of color. It gets a little bit different when you're working from a photograph. In the beginning, when you line this up, make sure you leave enough room at the bottom of your page for the rest of the image. This pen is also thicker than you would normally use, but for you guys, I'm doing it. All right, now, this is one of the questions that was raised after I did this the other day. How do you re-register it? Well, one thing, we're going to scroll up, and we're leaving it the same size that we had it. I can't get all of it in there at once. Okay, we're going to leave it the same. We're not going to enlarge it. It's the same size. So now I'm going to line up my paper with her hair and the body. That, see the dress? Can you see me lining that up? I'm lining it up and registering it with something else that I already drew. Let's see, where am I? Need to move this over. Just a hair. Make sure that I'm on the drawing. I'm not. And I've got stuff on my desk in the way. But what I'm showing you is how easy it is to re-register. Much easier than the some of the things that I have. I've got one that clamps on my desk, and I still don't have that just right there. That's closer. But you can see exactly where you want to line it up. So now I can come on down here and finish her little hand. And finish her little hand. Come down to her tail. Now we're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to move it so I can see the tail. And then I'm going to move my drawing again. It's close. And you're going to paint over this anyway, realistically. So that's how you do it. It's very simple to re-register. Now, if you want to make it bigger, well, I could have taken that off. You just make it bigger. Now, I did this one on my iPhone because I need bigger space. So I'll be using my iPad. You can certainly use your iPhone. This picture is 5.5, 6 inches tall, which is plenty for most journaling. You're not going to go much bigger than that. Me being a painter, if I use this for painting, I will go bigger than that. Let's go ahead and go through this here. Let me show you the app. Can you see it? Okay, this is the Etchr app, and you can use it with or without the app, but it's a whole lot easier with. Let me see if there's questions. Hey, Heidi. Gaia? I can't even read. But y'all know that after the other night with the silver paintbrushes. Okay, now I'm going to open the app. It's free, and it opens up to this. You've got settings at the top. You've got camera if you want to take a picture and work from a new photograph. You've got the 4 squares, which means you can pick what you want that's already in your library. And you've got the Etchr logo down here, which leads you to, well, let's just go there. It takes you to their website, and they've got a few tutorials and information about their other products. So we're going to go back to Etchr Mirror, and this is the camera. So I can take a picture of anything I want to on my desk. That'd be fun to draw. Get out of it by hitting cancel. Now this is your business button. This one right in the middle. It opens up immediately into my photos. So, you know, I've got millions of them. I have one marked favorites. And I'm going to scroll till I find the one I want. Right here. Okay. Move it all the way to bright. I've had better luck moving it all the way to bright. It affects how the image shines through that plastic. No, Jean, it does not move off alignment. It is what it is, and you can look at it any way you want to. I'll show you that in just a minute. Okay, so the brightness affects the light from here that's going to shine on your paper. This is the photograph with, like I said before, the other was an illustration. This is a photograph. So all these areas that are slightly the same, the values are the same, are a little bit more difficult to trace, but you don't really need anything but your basic outlines. Okay, so here is the same drawing in just a line art. You might have, oh, there you go. You're getting some bigger there. So here you could just draw your basic lines. Okay, so far? Here it is in grayscale, or in values, I'm sorry. This has probably 3 or 4 values. So you've got your darkest darks, your lightest lights, and your middles. All this stuff over here doesn't matter because we're not painting that. And then here is your grayscale. Now each of these come with sliders that you can use to get it where you want it, where you can see it. Okay, so let's go back to here. To enlarge it, you go way up like this. Just squeeze your 2 fingers apart. I could do this on my phone if I needed to, but I don't really need to. So there's that. Now, come back down with it. This is going to reflect as a mirror image. So all you have to do is hit this button, this filter button right here, and it flips it. So now when my image goes through there, it's going to be flipped to the right orientation. Hi, Kimberly. Maxie. All right, and then we have an rotate 90 degrees. We have one with a grid. Let me hold it up where I can see it. That's just giving me a center. That's, wonder if it would do. Okay, so I hit it more than once and I get different grids. You can't see them because, so there's the different grid. Center. This is the one I use most often, or a variation of that. Okay, turn that back up so we can see what we're doing. Let's say you've got it exactly where you want it and you've got it positioned on the grid if you choose to use it, which means you have, let's go back. Well, this is not going to help me if I'm drawing from scratch, but I'm not. So I guess this would just help you with the measurement to make sure that you've got enough paper to get your whole image on there that you want. What I was thinking that it did was moved the photograph behind the grid. Now, you got it just the way you want it. And you click lock. And it's not going anywhere. So, you know, those, I've had problems with just barely touching or breathing on something and the phone goes back to normal. And if you want to take it back, you click again and unclick it. And this one is if you want to save it to an album. All right, any questions? River. Button. Trying to catch everybody here. Let's go back and I'll show you the settings. The tutorial shows you the correct positioning of vertical. You can set it vertical. You can set it horizontal. It tells you to adjust the brightness. That was the part I skipped the other day. It tells you to zoom it, how to zoom it, and how to move it. And then it gives you 4 images you can try out. You can't see that from there. Okay? Very simple app, and it does just exactly what it needs to do. So I'm going to turn that baby off right now. And of course, you know me, we're going to try something that it probably wasn't intended to do, but we're going to do it anyway, because that's the way I roll. Put that away. Now, I wasn't very neat with my drawing. But again, if you're painting on top of it with something that's opaque, it really doesn't matter. This is just a guide for you. If you want it to be perfect, cut this out, paste it down as collage, then you need to be a little more accurate when you pick your pen up and put it back down. So far, so good? Okay, not see anything. Alrighty, my 3 pieces. I went through this the other day. They're flat pieces. That slide into each other. There. There's just marks where the piece goes, so you can't mess that up. Now, if you have a bigger piece, you need to stabilize. Let's see. I think it's this one you move. Okay, so I'm going to see the hole, or the slider, and I'm going to put I'm going to put this one right here. So this is if you have a bigger iPad or something like that, so the stand is more steady. Okay? Whew, got through that one. I haven't read that since last week. We'll just leave it like that because I've got just a regular size iPad. But make sure everything is seated good. And I don't know yet why, but they say that if you're doing it horizontal, you have that cut piece. I am sorry, I need to know that. That's why I wouldn't have made a good teacher. I'm trying to show you. The edge of that's cut off. Eek. Eek. There. And then this fits in the only holes that are left, which are the ones nearest the bottom. It can't be at any other angle, so you can't screw that up. And then you take your iPad and lean it up against the back supports. Okay? So you can't screw that angle up. There's only a couple of ways you can do it. Now I want to make sure I get her entire face. Got to get my eyes adjusted. I'm going to come over here. Oh, my line art. See if I can see it any better. I'm probably good right in here. I'm going to do this again with a Sharpie. What I'm going to do is I'm going to trace this onto a piece of plastic. I was making some stencils yesterday, so I'm going to trace this onto a piece of plastic. And again, remember, you line up with what's on the paper. There's no way you can turn it, and you can turn it this way, and I can trace it here. I can see it here. I can turn it here. I can turn it any way, and it does not change what's on this paper because these are set. Okay? Jean, are you good? This is for you, baby. So anyway, that's what can happen there. So all I have to decide now is which way. Don't drop your iPad in the process. I'm gonna move that board. Now I've got this on I've got it taped to a piece of paper. Come on now. Excuse me. Well, you get to see me. You get to see me do it over. That's a good thing. And their picture here shows that it just works. It's magic. Go back to this. Now the enlargement that I wanted only went up to about a 5. This number up here times 5. It only went up 5 times. Well, I'm painting this, so I need it bigger. So I went up as far as I could go, and it still needed about another percentage. So what I did was go back to my original photo and crop it, because there was a bunch of stuff around it I didn't need. So then when I honed in on the part that I want, which is right here, I could get it the size that I wanted it. And I did this before y'all came on. Now do it again. I want my mirror about like that, which it is, or my Magnamine glass. I want her little mouth. Now I've already got this drawn on my painting, so that's what I'm kind of trying to make sure that it's close to what I've already done. And it is. So now I can lock it, and it won't move. And it's a good idea to write down that 2.3. Mine's at 2.326. I'll get it out in a minute. That's the enlargement that I've got on this picture. It helps to write it down because you may not do this all in one session. And when you come back to it, you'd have to start over, excuse me. So we're close on. I know what's causing that because let me turn that one off too. I have crud on my acetate. All right. Again, you can't see a photo as clearly as you can see. Let's see. I'm going to unlock that. Move her over a little bit. I forgot to flip it, so we're now there. Now I can see her. Let me see if I can get it where y'all can see. I pulled my camera out. Of course, of course. Excuse me, shut your eyes. I'm trying to fix this so you can see what I see. Can you see what I see? Which way do I need to go? Now I'm over here on the side, handicap myself. Spill water, and you've got your iPhone sitting there on the desk. That's a good idea. I still want to come over more so y'all can see it. All right, I'm going to go for it. Maybe. Any questions? Hey, CB. Kathy. Rejoice. Rejoicey. Okay, here I go. I'm going to quit fooling around now. My paper is not anchored to the desk. It could be. And I'm going to go right in with the things that I know I need to paint. And this is where I have to make myself be careful. And I wanted that eye to be bigger, so I'll handle that when I'm painting it. Right now, I just want to get the image down. And the microscope, geez, Vicki. This will be drawn with a circle. Here's her little nose. That's an exaggerated shadow line. I have to continually tell myself if I slow down at this part, it'll be better. And I am, Jean, moving my head a little bit because the image is so large. Okay, and we go up here, and we have some hair down here. Come on, right there. Now I'm going to move, I'm going to unlock it. I didn't, obviously. And I'm going to move it up right now. I'm going to lock it again. Now reposition it again. And the best thing to reposition this with is the magnifying glass. Start with that, and then I can see, I don't think you can, it's a nuance of the eye. I can capture the cheek. So I know I'm fairly much in, I'm registered again. That little lip comes up about right there. Okay, here's the chin. And the little baby jowl. That finger comes on up like that a little bit. Now, I know you can see where I'm having trouble here, and it's because the contrast is not great because it's a photograph. 1, 2, 3. So that's a finger. Okay. And here's her shirt sleeve. And this just comes down like that. I wouldn't have to turn my head so much if I weren't making sure that y'all could see what I'm doing for the most part. Here's the neck of the shirt. I'm getting some of the drapery lines. See that right in through there is almost the same value. I'm checking it twice. Oh, I know what's going on here. That's between her fingers. Okay, the finger comes on up a little bit more. That can be, for me, that can be handled. It's a good thing I locked it. Lock. And again, start with the sphagnum eye. Line up the cheek and pretty close. Not like that. The further away I am from the iPad, the harder it is for me to see. It kind of disappears. So for painting, I don't need that. Come on. My marker is not. Be that way. That goes in here. Be that way. Stay up there. Let me get another pen. I've only got 1,000,000 here, so I found the pen I was searching for. It was in my bag. There's where I spilled the water just now. That's why the Sharpie wouldn't work. Imagine that. Oops. Okay, so we kind of got that in there. Now I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to pick up her ear, even though I'm not painting that. I want to get it in there. And again, I'm looking for the something to give me a landmark. Okay, here's her finger. Let's make sure you got the cheek. Cheek isn't on there, so you're not going to have that. You're going to have this. So I'm right here on the cuff. I do have the ear. Okay, I'm going to have to move this over. You enjoy seeing me play? Turn this one back on. I know why part of this problem may be because the picture is so darkish over in here. All I want right now is her ear, and I don't see it. There's her eye. More than one way to skill a cat. Skill a cat. I'm just lining it up with stuff I've already done. And I still can't see that ear. It's all the way over here. All right, let's see if I can see. See, the ear is completely disappeared. It blends right in with what's behind it, so there's no way I can get it. The only thing that's showing is just a little bit of white. It's right up in here. Is that it? So it's right over in here somewhere. And I need to get her neck. I forgot to look through the thing. That's the light back here. Are you bored yet? Are you bored yet? There's just nothing there on that ear. So I'll have to do that. I'll have to wing that on my own. There we have it. Any questions? Let me get another drink of my Slim Fast. If I really thought I needed that ear, I could go back into a program and edit that photo, just pull it way up and get the ear so it would show. The other thing I could do, let's see. Let's see what I can just do. You got to be resourceful, folks. Take that off. lock it. Looky there, what I'm looking at. Could you do this on your own? Of course you could. You could trace on your iPad. Put my pen up. That'll work. Okay. You're supposed to be locked. You are locked. Okay. Side-eye. Side-eye. I've got what I need. Questions? Y'all are playing scavenger hunt. Charlie's Angels? Oh, good God. Okay. Now, I want to see how this will work for what I typically do. Okay, what I typically do is print out a pattern exactly the size I'm going to paint it. Let's see how close to this one is. Pretty doggone close. It better be. A little bit bigger. Not a whole lot. So I can't even see the ear over here enough to see if it's on. But that's what I normally do. But then when you compare drawing it by eye, which I usually try to do, just because I want to keep my drawing skills brushed up. Then you're looking here and you're looking here and you're measuring back and forth. I'll show you a little bit of that. I know it's in the video that I did, but here's a poker. So if this is the size I want it, then I'll come over to this picture. Nah. That doesn't count because I'm making that one bigger. Let's measure her nose. And then I will come over here and make the nose that. So it's all check and balance. There's the top of her curve of her mouth. Pretty much dead center under her. And I'm off there. See, I'm too far down, which is something that I have a habit of doing, is getting noses too long. So that's how I do that. Now, if I'm doing a commission or something that really, really, really matters, then I'll take a piece of acetate and trace my photo. And then I'll take this and lay it over my drawing. And this will be made with a real circle. So now I have a decision to make on my rough drawing layout. Which way do I want to go? Do I want to line it up with the eyes and correct the rest of it? Or do I want to line it up with the chin and the hand and correct the eyes? So that's the thinking process I go through. Now, we'll put this back on. I think I can skip a step. I'm lining it up. And you can see quite clearly where to line it up. If I choose to go with the eyes, then I don't have much to modify through here. Some, but not much. What I'm saying is this tool would help me skip some of those steps of the drawing the full size. I could print the full size, but it would keep me from having to jockey back and forth with a piece of plastic. For me, this would really come in handy. Now, if I'm not doing a commission for somebody and it doesn't have to look like anybody, then it doesn't matter in the end. But you kind of want to make sure you got your eyes in the right spot and your nose and your mouth, and the rest of it can float. Okay, any questions? Yeah, but button they're not off too much. And had I done this without, if I had blocked in using this instead of that, I wouldn't have nearly as many troubles coming in halfway. Let's see. And you're fixing to make a mess. Move that back a little bit. Got it locked. I'm just going to do the eyes. This is my portrait box of pastels. Screw up. Okay, so I'm here. Can you see any? Yeah, you can see a little bit. Oops, I didn't put this eyeball in. Where are we? Right there. Okay. Okay. Can you see that? That's how easy it would be to use that to get your main ingredients on the board in proportion and in the place they're supposed to be. Yes, it can be, depending on what you're using. I mean, not everybody can get an exact to size photocopy or print, which is what I do, of what they want to paint. I'm crooked. Oh, yeah, because that's why I turned it so y'all could see it through the glass. So for a lot of people, you've got to know how to get your picture, your image enlarged exactly where you want it so that you can print a full size, that size print. A lot of people have to go to Kinko's or whatnot, and it is trouble. You know, it does take some time to get that set up, and that's where this unit comes in handy for me, even though I was a graphic designer for years. So I have those skills that I can call on when I need them. But for a $40 tool, it's great, I think. So, any questions before we move on? Jean, do you have any? Y'all are talking circle cutters. Shannon made me buy this one. This is by Fiskars, I think. And I have another one somewhere and never used them. So I need to get them out. Here's the thing. No, Alpha, the people that make the cutting wheels. I need to practice with that, don't I? Okay. What y'all want now? Are you talking about the one that I just showed you, CB? Yeah, Jean, I particularly like the fact that the image is independent of your head. I've got one of gosh, what's it called? It's from a company called Magic. It's the camera Lucida, and you have to look down into it. And so it's dependent on where your eye is on that one. So that one does move around, and you can't stand still that long. I blink and it's jiggled just a hair. Or God forbid you touch the crook neck thing. And this is so, because this is independent of your eye. So there you go. I like it. I like it a lot. Anybody want to take any bets on the odds of me spilling water before the day is over? Move that. Which app are y'all talking about? I have camera Lucida. Is that what you're talking about? Carol, I have no idea. I do not know. I know not to touch that one. I did that when I took it out. Ah, that's your pokey tool where you hold your center like a compass. That's where you enlarge it. Oh, yes, it is rotary. Duh. There's the blade. So that's that one. Tiny wheel. I have camera Lucida. I didn't realize it was up to $10. And yes, it works. But I don't always have a place to put my iPhone where it can shine down on my picture. And that's been my problem with this. I'm looking at the camera Lucida right now. And the problem with the other one is you've got parts and pieces that you got to keep up with. So this would sit here, and then I would trace. Wait a minute. I forgot. I forgot how to use it. This one you have to slide it to get it to show on your paper, which is here. See my hand? So here you've got to wiggle it around, and there's your face. Is it seeing through the paper? No, because I'm going to put it down here. Okay, here you go. It's backwards. It's not. You can't hold it with your hand, which I'm doing. I'm seeing if I move my position back and forth. Where is it? And you constantly have to go back to where you were. I can't really tell. Okay, there's the corner of the eye. And there's her eyeball. That's right at the same size that I've been using, but my sketch turned out bigger. Quite a bit bigger. So, typically if I were using this, and I have before, it's dangerous, but I'm doing it anyway. You have to get your paper up underneath Okay, I'm upside down on my iPhone. This is kind of like walking and chewing gum. And I'm having to strain my head to get it where I want it. No, I'm in the camera app, so it's not going to let me move it over. Anyway, does that answer some questions? Bye, Gail. And then here's my Magnamine glass. I just think this is harder because you're not drawing. Your eye is looking 12 inches up, and your hand is down. So that it's kind of weird. Now look how big that is. Okay, it measures this. Why is it coming in bigger? There's a size problem here. So what I'm looking at on my iPhone screen is not the same percentage of enlargement as what I wanted. It's bigger. And I don't know how you would fix that. I guess. I hear you. Okay, let's go back. You have to go back. I guess you would have to bring that down in size, smaller than you want it. Hush, hush, hush. Where is it? Where is it? Right here. See, I keep wanting to, it's moving different than something's weird. Okay, so this is the new one. And I wanted it to be that big. So that worked. I have to make my camera image smaller than my desired picture image to get it where I want it. So, having used both, and I have used this one, the mirror is a whole lot easier. And you're not talking that much difference. Yeah, Carol, CB, you do reduce the size of it. However, you can't compute it. So there's a lot of guesswork involved. And you're right, it could be the speed. My camera one would hold the phone. But the issue is all the unknowns. But, for $10 as opposed to $40, it may be worth it if you think you would use it. But I've had the Lucida app probably for 4 years, 5 years. And that's typical of the experience. Okay. Because I started this with this. I'm so glad I worked on the frosted side. All right. This is a biggie. When I printed this, I have her head straight up and down. In the photo, it's not. See? It's this way. It's almost 8 degrees off center. And of course, since I printed it that way, I drew it that way. So I'm going to have to work over the whole thing, which is not a big deal because this board can take a multitude of changes. because I want it to look sideways. It's more dynamic that way. Okay, where did you go? Because I touched you. There's my baby girl at 3. All right, be that way. Any questions? Okay, y'all are on something else. I need to finish this so I don't spill it. Be right back, finishing this. I'm also thinking, it's a scary thing when I think. All right, that's the last of that. That was my liquid lunch. No, it's not vodka. All right, what I'm going to do, I decided while I was doing that. Let's see, I need to measure this nose. Duh. Y'all may not be interested in this in any way, shape, or form. I'm creasing my paper at the bottom of my iPad. I'm going to try that first. And I'm going to get a ruler. Aren't y'all glad you're not a portrait artist? And I'm going to fold that. Give myself a straight edge that's my new, like that. Now you can see how far she's off if I line up the paper. So I've got that. This one is okay because I traced it with the understanding that it was going to play nice. And it is, it will. That's why I kept seeing the shadow of this cheek over here being so far off. It's not really, but okay. Now, what would I do? Oh, Judy. Yeah, I know, Jean. I'm really thinking out loud. What I would do right now, since I have this new toy, it's what I showed you guys that it would do. I'm going to go back. I guess he didn't write down the measurements of the enlargement. Maybe I did. .983. So I can tap here. that it? That looks a little big. And it is. Get back to that little nose. Hush, Minnie. Okay. Lock. Let me go let them outside real quick. I'll be right back. Come on. Okie doke. Ow, ow, ow. I don't need that one. I need one of these ones. This will work. I'm just getting my bearings here. So since the head is tilted, nothing will be correct except the one thing that I focus on. This is normal operating procedure in my studio. And it was too big. This is why I don't do very many commissions. It's supposed to be flipped. That makes more sense now. I did that a while ago too. Close. Close, close. I would probably quit on this. I'm using it, I'm sure, in a way that it's not supposed to be. I just want to get my bearings here, which means I would be square to my board. What's making this harder is that it's already started. Where's my mic? There it is. I'm pointing on that magnifying glass. My iPad is square with my board. And this eye doesn't really matter because I'm making it larger. But the eye does go in there. You know what I'm tempted to do? Quit. Because I can't see through what's already painted on there. I could just start a new board. Lord knows you got enough of them. Y'all hang with me or don't. This is the problem I have when I start doing a demo. Okay. Lots of little stops and starts. I need a knife. Anybody got a knife? Watch me find out that I needed to use a lighter colored board to work, but we're going with this. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I'm going to turn this on for a minute. This is 12, so I want 4 down. I think 3 over. Right there. Ordinarily, not ordinarily, most of the time I mark this off because I plan when you've got a board that's exactly the size that your piece is going to be, you don't have the luxury, 3, it's over here. You don't have the luxury of cropping it when you frame it. That should be 3. Start over. 4, that's right on the dot. So let's see, which eye did I have? So I pre-plan where I want to be in the center of interest. And that's right at 4 by 3. So that's what I did. I had that eye right here. So now I take my thingy and I sit it so that that eye is right on that X. And I'm making sure that my board is square to the world. It is. Now that's right. Doop, 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 doop. Okay. This is a million times easier than the Camera Lucida app. So I was fighting something there I didn't really need to be fighting. The babies are wanting back in. Gene, I am moving my head down a little bit now. I'm moving it down and sideways so that I can see the width over here. But again, this is a full-size picture. All right. All I have to do is line it up again. The nose. I need a little more to, there it is. A little more to line up. There it is. Every artist that I've ever known has traced. And obviously the old masters did. And I've heard a lot of them say, well, I just want to get to painting. I know how to draw. Line her up. Buttercup. Moving my paper. Can you hear those babies barking? Okay, now we're going to line up that eye and that eye, which are close. I've already done that. I mean, this part doesn't even really matter. Ta-da! Now, I'm back in control. She's bigger than life size, but that's okay for what we're doing. The babies, the babies. I'm coming. I'm coming back. We have two doggy gates, puppy gates. One goes to the back of the house and one comes in here. Okay, let me look at chat. Yeah, even if you know where to go buy it by hand, buy something that you want, you can get it online almost faster than going to look for it. Now I'm going to make this eye bigger. To accentuate that. Magnifying glass. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Miss Lena. When I can rig up the camera to go over there where the real pastels are, that's what I'll do. We can work over there a little bit. I'm just scratching over those lines a little bit. Let's see, I want to do my lights first. too soft. Where is it, Vicki? I forgot to put junk on my hands. Now they'll be all dried up. Now, I'm glad that y'all were here with me today as I figured my way through that. Be right back. I got it sitting out right over here. I can at least walk through my studio now. Without having to turn 14 different directions. I'll be in there in a little bit. This is like eating candy. And I'm going to load it up here. Those are my lightest lights. Guess what? I don't have to do it here. Tearing a wrapper off a new piece of this particular color. I usually like my pieces to be about an inch. See, even that's a good piece to use. Okay. Sorry. 5:35. I've got a few more minutes left. Not that anybody's counting. One thing about it sure does save time. It's all way dark. Where did my little piece go? Just had it and it's gone. Oh well, maybe that was it. I'm quiet when I'm painting. You hush, I'll be out in a minute. You hush your mouth. Okay. There is something off on there. Yeah, it's a little bit too high. I still got anybody? I'll fix that later when I'm refining. I got a problem with my eye, but that bothers me. It's part of it. Y'all are having a fun time and I'm not playing. Not waiting for me to have fun. There, she looks like she's been playing in lipstick. Drink of water. Well, I've gotten all the patience out of them I'm going to get. I don't want green. I don't want green. Hounds of the Baskervilles. I'm sorry. All right. Poppy must be home. Yes, they have. They've lost their patience. Actually, it's Poppy. He went trout fishing. So if he caught any fish, it's trout for supper. And if he didn't, it's takeout. All right, guys. I think that y'all are probably bored to tears. This is just a rough block-in. I know that's sad, isn't it? And I will use my this to see where I am. And I was right. It is a whole lot bigger than the one I planned. Ah! Beauty of it is it'll wash off. All right. I think that we gave the Etchr mirror a real good demonstration. And I'd appreciate it if y'all go over there and tell them that I did. So I can do some more good demonstrations for their products. It's Etchr, E-T. Let me type it. E-T. And here in the right place. E-T-C-H-R. Etchr Lab, I think. Go over there and tell them that you had a good time and got to see it in action. And got to see me flub up 2 pastel drawings. Wet wipe. I'll just take that to the sink and scrub it off and start over. Glad y'all liked it. Yeah, I just don't creating enough. I need to do more. But I draw a blank because I like to watch, be in the chat too. Yeah, I hate hamster wheels. I'm off mine pretty much. Okay, y'all be sure you signed up for my mailing list. The blogs will start again tomorrow. And what I'm doing right now is revising some old blogs. I started blogging in 2008, I think, 2009. It's been sporadic over the years, but the trips that I took to Europe and the art schools that I was in and the workshops I was in is fun. And I'm just recanting some of my learning process along the way. So there will be a new one. There's already a bunch on there. So just read along and have fun. And I will see y'all later. Thanks so much for coming. Over and out. See ya.